Downs Plains 10-pin for the 1990 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. This is a first-round encounter between Chris Batson and Fred Allsopp, both bowlers from Sydney. And first up, Chris Batson leading out. And a good confident start, Terry.
Well, you know, Chris isn't going to be flustered by the lights. He's just a great player. That's his favourite shot. Winging the ball out there, let it just run back and drive into the pins, mixing the pins. That's what he likes to do.
This is Fred Allsopp. He's won a host of tournaments during his career. 1990, he won the Newcastle Cup and he was a member of the New South Wales team. In 89, the Melbourne Cup. In 88, the Newcastle Cup. 87 and 86, also a host of tournaments. It's the number 6 seed this year. And he too comes up with a perfect start to the 1990 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic.
Chris, this is probably the best match you'll ever see in this country. These two players are just great players. One left-hander, one right-hander. A lot of controversy between the two, but these two will just show how well it can be done out here from both sides at the same time. You see Fred, the classic stylist, gets through the ball well, goes a little high, carries. He's throws a great shot, concentrates well. Let's see if he can get a double. Put the pressure early on Chris, and let's see if Chris can get back. A bit unlucky on that shot, same shot as before. Just didn't carry the 8-pin there. He'll go back, spare it, and then you'll see here. It's through, lifted a little bit much, pulled it a little bit to the right, pulled a little inside, goes a little high. Fred would have thought he'd have carried that 9. Just go back and spare it. He's a classic stylist. Great player to watch.
He's been bowling for 20 years. He's had 2 previous appearances in the Coke. Loves bowling and reading. Fred Allsopp from Macquarie Fields in Sydney. Safe spare.
Well, you know, like I've put the mocker on them before, but these players shouldn't miss any spares. They're just great players. You just can't talk highly enough about them.
Batson is one of the form bowlers in 1990 on the Sydney Open, the Southgate Open. In 89, 2 tournaments in Indonesia. In 88, the Brisbane Masters, the Milton Cup, and the Gold Coast Open. Well, disappointed there.
Well, there's nothing more you can say about that shot. You've thrown a perfect shot. It's gone straight in. He's just left a cold 8. This is just heartbreaking, especially in this situation. You're looking to bowl good shots. You've only got 10 frames. He thinks it's home and hose, and you just can't believe it stands up. But you just got to go back and pick it up. Not worry about it.
No problem with the spare.
No, he's using the pink hammer. We've bowled together before and discussed the pink hammer. It's a great spare ball. You'll see here, it doesn't hook as much. It goes longer. Just comes back at the end. Safe spare. Chris will go over and Chris will certainly put this next shot in the pocket. I'm positive of that. Chris has got a great style too. He gets right through the ball. Great leverage. 5
times in his career he has bowled a perfect score of 300, and he comes.
Again, a perfect shot. You know, I'd be really surprised if Chris misses the pocket, to be honest, in this game. He is just such a good player under pressure. If there's one person you don't want to pay for lunch or drinks or a bit more, it's Chris Batson. He's probably the best pressure player in the country. He's great. You'll see this the big shot, throws it out. You'll see the younger guys whipping the ball through to do that, and Chris just does it with consummate ease.
By the same token, Fred Allsopp, he too has a wealth of experience and will by no means throw in the towel. Oh, yes, what a good reply.
As I said, you know, both these guys are just going to hit the pocket all day.
We'll take a break here on Nine's Wide World of Sports, and when we return, as we have a look at the style, Fred Allsopp, the perfect delivery, takes them all out, and it's all square between Fred Allsopp and Chris Batson in the 1990 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic.
Once again today, we're going to look at the terminology used in bowling. The term we're focusing on today is the pocket. What it refers to is on a full deck of pins, the 1 and the 3 pin area for the right-handed bowlers and the 1 and the 2 pin area for left-handed bowlers. If in the event that the ball hits the pins smack on the head pin, the result is usually a split.
the Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic for 1990. The man on screen is Fred Allsopp. He is playing a man from his home city, Sydney that is, Chris Batson. So these two Sydney-siders involved in an enthralling battle, a first round one in this tournament, and it's level pegging after 3 frames. Let's wait for it. He's coming off a strike looking for a double.
Kick!
Oh, yeah, you heard it. He wanted it to kick and got the result.
As I said before, you just watch these guys play. You might see other people on the show and they'll rush the tense shots. Fred doesn't. He's experienced players, perfect footwork, perfectly straight at the line, straight in the pocket. These guys are just great to watch, and this will be just a great match. This is just, look at this. He's just right through the ball, knows where it's going, straight in the pin.
Oh, here we are, strike for strike. Batson and Fred Allsopp. This is turning out to be a cliffhanger, and still it's level pegging after 4 frames.
Well, Chris, you'll see here throws the best shot, right out to the edge of the lane. The ball comes back, jumps back into the pocket. He's worked on it while he was practicing, warming up for the match. Let's see if he can get another one to make it 3.
He sure can. And a perfect delivery. That's a turkey, 3 in a row for Chris Batson. Fred Allsopp now comes up to the line.
You know, Chris is just such a hard player to play. Look at this. He's right through the ball. He's changed his release a bit to get the ball further down the lane, to get it to come back harder. He makes minor adjustments like this all the time. You'll see that. He's whipped through the ball now. His hand's in a different position. It's jumping back now in the back end. He's got more area to play with. He's opened the lane up. Fred's going to have to keep going with him. You've got to keep striking with Chris. And Fred knows it. Fred's played him before. He's beaten Chris before, but he's been beaten before.
Oh, and the striking continues here in the 1990 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. Batson and Allsopp, strike for strike.
This is going to be, as I said before, this is just going to be a great match. You'll see here, Fred gets the ball out on the lane. It just looks the same every time it goes down the lane. And he just knows it's a great shot. Fred never gets overexcited. He just throws good shots. Bang, thank you. Let's go back. Let's sit down, wait for the next time.
The bowlers continue this run. 280 games coming up.
Well, they've both got, 3 in a row. They've both had wraps in the second frame. Let's see if Fred can put the wood on Chris and make Chris keep striking.
Yes, he can.
This is, like, they've all hit the pocket solid every shot. It's very, very hard to play. The nerves are going to start to show probably in a couple of frames of who's going to miss first. And it's going to come down to the wire. It's a great shot. 10 in the pit. And doesn't even look like missing. See here, he gets it out, or gets down the lane. Always looks the same. Straight in the pocket. Let's see if Chris can reply.
Oh, yes, what a shot from the master tactician, Chris Batson.
Chris has made a couple of adjustments in his game here. He's getting the ball down a little bit earlier.
We'll take a break here on Nine's Wide World of Sports, and after 6 frames, this match between Batson and Allsopp still all square. The prize money breakdown for this year's Goldpin Coca-Cola Club.
Contrary to public belief, all bowling lanes are within certain specifications. They all run 62 feet long approximately and 36 inches wide. They don't come in one solid piece. They're actually consisted of about 36 boards that are laminated together to get the desired finish that we have on the lanes.
Welcome back to Browns Plains Tenpin for the 1990 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. A cliffhanger at the moment. It's a round 1 match between 2 Sydney-siders, Fred Allsopp and Chris Batson. At the moment, they're going strike for strike on par for 280 games. And Batson now out to get the jump on Allsopp. Yeah, the run continues. A little bit of luck, but that doesn't matter. You're on a roll.
That's actually not a bit of luck. Chris plays that shot with great regularity. He's got the slow ball speed, the working ball, comes out, comes in, drives into the pins. He gets great mix on the pins, keeps the pins very, very low. That's why you get this. You'll see here the pins are low down that take out the standing pins. See, he puts the ball down early, gets the ball through the ball, whips it up, and it just jumps back. That's his bread and butter shot. He knows that shot really well.
These two players, very experienced campaigners, taking a lot of time between shots, as opposed to some of the younger players who've rushed through their matches. This is Fred Allsopp, needs the strike to stay in touch.
Kick!
Oh, yes, you heard it. It's still continuing here in the Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. Strike for strike between Batson and Allsopp. This is a fantastic match, Terry.
This is just one of the best matches you'll ever see on TV. You'll see here Fred gets the ball down, he throws it out, tells it to kick, knows where he wants the break point to be, and he just gets the ball out to his break point. There he just puts the work on the ball. He gets, now, jump, he says, now. That's what he wants, that's what he's looking for. He got a little bit of a break pulling out the 7-pin, but it was a great shot. You'll see here he'll take a lot of time in every single shot. These guys are really experienced.
Shooting for 6 in a row here is Fred Allsopp. Oh, yes, look at that. This is bowling at its perfect best.
This really is, like, you can't talk about this enough. These two players, the last time they played, Fred won shooting 240 to Chris's 230. Fred wants to get out there and keep it in front. Chris wants to get revenge, but Fred's just not giving him a chance. We're just the first person to crack.
Well, that looked perfect from the moment it left his hand. You can't say enough. That's 6 strikes in a row for each bowl.
This is great. You know, like, usually one person cracks, but I think about now, I think you're going to find the turnaround. You'll see here Chris sends the ball out, not as wide as before, but comes back, sits up the back end. Chris is a great ball driller. He works out with a lot of equipment and really knows it, works it out really well. It's great concentration. That's
Some
that
people
shot.
were saying that this bowling centre manager from Bankstown can only bowl at his home centre, but boy, is he putting on an exhibition here.
He is just bowling fantastic. This is just great bowling. You know, Chris, that's his bread and butter shot. He throws it out, gets that lucky break. He's pumped up. He wants to bowl well, and you're right, Chris, a lot of people have been talking about it. He's also got that on his mind. When Chris is on a mission, he's very, very hard to stop.
There he is, a determined man. Now his opponent, the insurance broker from Macquarie Fields. They're neighbours in Sydney, but rivals on the lanes. Can Allsopp continue this fantastic run we've had in this round 1 match? Let's wait for it.
Oh, no. Cross!
Oh, he was waiting for that element of luck, but it didn't come.
You know, like when you've got playing guys of this calibre, it's very, very rarely that you'll see that luck come into it. Usually they don't miss by enough. See here, concentration, just gets it down a little bit inside his target line. He hopes for the break, but deep inside he knows he's not going to get it. That's not his game. Fred and Chris are both perfectionists. They both know where they want the ball to go. Never looked like it. Just got to go back spare and see if he can start striking again.
How's that? First part of the mission is completed. As we take a break here on Nine's Wide World of Sports, it's Chris Batson in front of Fred Allsopp with 1 frame to go. 1990 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic, an enthralling first round match between Chris Batson and Fred Allsopp. Fred Allsopp really did let Batson in with a bit of a chance at the moment. They'd been going strike for strike, 7 in a row, and the run ended for Fred Allsopp.
Well, that's what I said. When you get up around the end of the game, all of a sudden the nerves start to tell, and it's a case of who's bowling at the right time, whether they feel or whether they don't. Now, Fred has to strike in the 10th here. He has to strike. It's just imperative. It's a must situation. He's got to get 3 in a row.
Too high on the head pin.
This happens quite a lot. When you get a match like this where the tension's going, you're going with it, and then all of a sudden you stop striking, you tend not to recover. And you'll see here he throws it out. It's the same shot as he threw before, except he didn't miss by quite enough. And he's just left himself a pretty tricky spare. At this stage, if he spares and strikes, he's going to shoot 240. Chris has really shut him out if he just spares. But Fred needs to get this, because if Chris opens, of course, then he can still win the match. So he has to get it as well, just to play safe.
Yep. Only just.
Well, you know, Chris smiling there. You know, as I said, these players aren't really going out looking for a break. You know, you can't go out and bowl and look for breaks. It just doesn't happen. You've just got to go out there, give it your best. And if the breaks happen, well, the breaks happen. You see here he gets lucky. Fred says, oh, thank you. He knows it was a miss. But it's just the way it goes. But you really, you know, a lot of players go out hoping for breaks to have wins, and that just doesn't happen in any sport. You've got to just go out and give it your best. See if Fred can strike here and finish it off.
Never looked likely that time, but he put on a great exhibition and only cracked in the latter stages.
Well, as I said, when Chris is striking, it's very, very hard to keep with him. He's just such a he's just a prolific striker. He just gets so many strikes. And he can spare. He's just got a great all-round game. You know, he's one of the greatest players in the game ever, of all time.
It's a big wrap. Still got a bit of work to do, though. Oh, well, that's interesting.
Well, if Fred hadn't have got 6 on the last ball, it would have been a lot better. You know, Fred had got a strike there. He could have put a bit more pressure. But if Chris just even takes 1, he's still won the match. So he knows he's won. Maybe that's why he missed a little.
Oh, what a nice spare. He has looked fantastic. He's hasn't left the frame open, and we've had 10 frames. We're into the 10th.
The way you spare this is to put the ball to the left of the 2-pin and to kick the ball over to the 7-pin. I think Chris was just having some fun, to be honest. You know, when he's on, he's on.
Pressure's off, so he might as well have some fun. Here we go, last delivery. 9 pins down that time. But it's a victory for Chris Batson over Fred Allsopp. Batson into the second round. Allsopp bows out in the 1990 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic.